Hello, welcome to the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by our great sponsor, Redbank Chevrolet. We've had some great guests this year, and we have another great guest tonight, and Brad Frazier, Athletic Director at CL and sixth grade teacher. Thanks for joining us, Brad. We have a lot of great stuff to talk about tonight.
Thanks, Mike. I'm looking for the opportunity. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and you've had a long career in sports as a player, as a coach, as an AD. But we're going to start here. Our first segment. We're going to start with kind of your beginnings. You went to Clarion, and at the time, which people probably don't realize, Clarion didn't have a baseball team, and you were a great baseball player, so you had to find a way to get noticed. What was that like? Trying to get yourself in a position to play any innings as a youth without a high school baseball team.
It was definitely difficult. Without high school baseball, you just don't get noticed like the other players do. For me, it really started in Legion without having a high school baseball team. And my dad and I went to a Pittsburgh Pirate tryout when I was 16. So it was a great opportunity. I went to Warren, Pennsylvania, and threw for the Pirates that day. And they seemed like they were pretty interested and followed me around a little bit locally at the Legion level. And so I had to basically get any exposure, and my dream to play professionally was through Legion ball at that time.
Yeah, because now we kind of take it for granted. High school programs exist at just about every school, even small ones. But at Clarion, at the time, you didn't have a baseball program, so you had to find a way to play in other things. How hard was that? Because we talked last night, it was pretty hard for you not to have a high school team. You're really kind of like a nomad in a way.
Well, you're kind of an unknown as well, because when you reach out to colleges and stuff, they don't know anything about you. Now, I did, again, through Legion, I had some opportunities where I would play in the All-Star games in advance and during the All-Star games and get noticed by some colleges and stuff. And that kind of really led me into playing at Butler Community College to start off with and kind of jumpstart my career.
Yeah, and that was a great opportunity for you to go to community college, get a jump start in your education, and also play. You went there, and you were lucky to have a great coach in John Stuper, who was a former major league player from Butler. What was his impact on you? Because I know, as a left-handed pitcher, he must have been an invaluable source for you at the beginning of your career and your ascent.
Coach Stuper was a great impact. He knew everything about pitching. He got me in better shape, and again got me the exposure I needed to really get to that next level, even at Clarion University. But he provided a great opportunity. I come in and I was able to play right away, and I really owe Coach Stuper a lot of thanks.
Yeah, and as a left-handed pitcher, obviously that probably puts you a little bit on the lists, right? Because everyone was looking for lefties even back. You're a 1988 graduate from Clarion. Correct. Even back then, Major League Baseball was looking for lefties, and you were a hard-throwing lefty. Am I correct? Pretty hard?
Yeah, I threw in the mid-80s, but my best pitch was a curveball, and I really took advantage of that. So I as my career progressed, I eventually was a left-handed specialist, was what they call it, and I would face a lot of left-handed batters, but. No, I was a mid-80s thrower and pitcher, and I had a pretty good curveball.
Yeah, you had a pretty good career at BC3. You said you were 13-2 one year, but really you had 2 seasons, but really it was only 1 year because of the way that was structured. Talk about that a little bit, having really kind of baseball 101 like under fire because you had a lot of baseball in a short period of time.
Absolutely. I essentially lost a year because I went there in the fall of '89. And I played in the fall, which counted against me, and then I played in the spring of '90, and so it counted as 2 years instead of 1 year. So it was actually it was tough, but again I was fairly successful, and it really helped me start at the college level.
So how did you get from BC3 to Clarion? Did they notice you? Did they recruit you after seeing you pitch at BC3 and do so well there?
Coach Herman from Clarion University attended a lot of my games, and he just kept pursuing me. And he said, "Why don't you come back home?" And I thought it was a great opportunity to come back home, play in front of my family and some of my friends, and So I really took advantage of that opportunity to come back here to Clarion University, and very thankful for that opportunity as well.
Were there any other schools that were kind of in the mix there, like kind of said, hey, maybe come here, throw for us, pitch for us?
At the time, it was mostly the Division II schools from the PSAC conference, Slippery Rock, IUP, but Clarion really stood out to me and gave me that opportunity.
Yeah, and obviously it was a good choice because when you got to Clarion, you made a big impact. What was that transition like? Obviously, community college to Division II college baseball, big jump. Just like a high school to even community college baseball is a big jump. You made a good adjustment though. What were some of the things you had to adjust to back then to kind of get yourself in position to pitch as well as you did?
It was just a jump in competition overall. The PSAC conference is a very tough baseball conference. And to make that transition, I had to keep myself in shape. Coach Herman and Coach Barry McAuliffe, who was my pitching coach, put us all on a great workout program. And for me, it just kept progressing. And so to get that opportunity to really come back and I think really to play in front of your family and having that opportunity really helped me out a lot.
Yeah, and you put up some pretty impressive numbers, especially that first year. I think your ERA was under 1 or right around 1. Strikeouts per 9 innings were 12.6. Were you surprised, or did you expect yourself to play at that high level?
I was actually surprised. That was my senior year. I started out the season 0-3. I didn't have a win, and I lost 3 straight games. But I just kept plugging away because I knew my dream was obviously to try and get to the next level. And things started to click for me. And just by really just staying after it and continuing to work hard, it ended up paying off, and I won like 5 games in a row. Mm-hmm. I never expected to really lead the nation in ERA and strikeouts, but I attributed that to just my hard work and persistence.
Yeah, it must have been, was it validation too, saying, okay, I am as good as I had hoped to be. I do belong here. I do belong to get a chance at the next level.
Absolutely. I knew at that time that I could compete, and all I wanted was the opportunity to show that I could compete even at that next level. And again, I can't thank Coach Herman and Coach McAuliffe enough, because they really helped my career at Clarion University to even propel me to that next level.
Because that really was a dream of yours for a long time, wasn't it? To get a chance to pitch in professional baseball. You said 16, and at 16 you went to a camp to get noticed, but it probably started before that, didn't it?
It actually goes back to whenever I was 2 years old. My grandma bought me my first baseball glove. She actually bought it for the wrong hand. She had to take it back, and so my grandfather asked her to get a new glove for me, and so really for as long as I can really remember, it was a dream to play professional baseball and just try and work towards that goal.
So when it finally happened, what were your thoughts? Because you were drafted in the 40th round by the then Florida Marlins and now the Miami Marlins. Leading up to that, did you have a feeling that you were going to get that opportunity, you were going to be drafted?
I did. The Florida Marlins, my senior year, noticed me when we were in spring training in Florida that year, and they just kept following up with me periodically throughout the year. And so yes, it was something that I knew that I might have the shot to be able to play at that next level.
All right, well, we're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about that experience at the next level. You're watching the Main Street Sports Show here at the Haskell House. And our guest here is Brad Frazier. I'm your host, Mike Kilroy, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk more with Brad about his experiences playing minor league baseball.
Hey Julie, nice deck. Did you get that at Tio Nesta Builder Supply?
It's Tionesta Builder Supply, and yes, Dave, I did.
Wonder if they sell siding and roofing at Tio Nesta Builder Supply.
It's Tionesta, and yes, Tionesta Builder Supply has that too. Come on, Dave. You've never been there? They have 2 showrooms for anything home improvement. Mom got a custom kitchen there. Bill down the street got the materials for his garage. They have this awesome website, www.tionestabuilders.us. You can buy online. They really have everything for the home.
Wow, I'm heading over to Tio Nesta. I know. Tionesta Builders.
Tionesta Builder Supply Home Improvement Center, family owned and operated since 1958, with locations in Tionesta and Shippensville.
That sounds good. I'll check them out online at tionestabuilders.us.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kales kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kales, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
Welcome to 12 Series, a veteran-owned and operated company. Want to stand out amongst the crowd? This is the brand for you. They have apparel that ranges from cardio tanks and hoodies to sweat noggin covers. The apparel isn't just designed for the gym, it's designed for everyday life. Whether at work, the range, or at a family outing, 12 Series will turn heads. Find and like 12 Series on Facebook and Instagram.
Hi, my name is Jason and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
And welcome back to the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet. We have Brad Frazier here, Athletic Director at Clarion-Limestone, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of your minor league experience. When you were drafted by the Miami Marlins, you were probably pretty pumped, pretty excited. Did you know right away, all right, I'm going to leave school early, I'm going to go and pursue this dream?
I knew right away. It's kind of a funny story. I waited. I got drafted on the 3rd day, so it was kind of a waiting game. And Coach Herman knew that I was a little nervous, but he said, why don't you come over to my house and pick rocks out of my backyard? He was building a new house. So I did that, and then I got the call. I was actually at Coach Herman's house, and my wife at the time said the Florida Marlins are on the phone, and they would like to speak to you. And it was a scout by the name of Bill Shear, who played in the big leagues himself, said, hey, congratulations, you're the newest member of the Florida Marlins. We'd like to have you commit and play for us. And I was on cloud 9. It was exciting.
Obviously now, there's tiers, there's signing bonuses. What did it give you to come as a 40th round pick to go play for them?
Actually, a lot of people have asked me that before. I got $1,000. I got a new pair of cleats and 2 baseball gloves out of it.
Hey, take what you can get, right?
Probably one of my most prized possessions that I got from them was an original jacket that I still have to this day. And I hang it up in my closet, and I don't wear it obviously, but no, they treated us really like big leaguers because we were the very first class that they drafted in 1992. So we kind of got the big league treatment, I guess.
Yeah, so where did you go? Where did you report?
I had to go to Bucky Dent School, which is down in Melbourne, Florida, and the Cocoa Beach area. And we were down there for a week. It was probably the most difficult week I ever had. Not being away from my family really had nothing to do with it, other than it was an adjustment. It was extremely hot. It was difficult. They put us through a lot of conditioning and things like that. I think they were really trying to test who wanted to be here and who didn't. And I do remember calling my parents. I said, this is one of the most toughest weeks I've ever experienced. But after that, I had a really unique experience because I got notified that I was going to play in Erie, which obviously is less than 2 hours away. So I was really excited about that.
So you were a Seawolf for a while.
Well, actually back then they were the
weren't
Sailors.
They're the Sailors.
And now they're the Seawolves. And
so
that was a big adjustment as well, going from playing in front of maybe 100 people here, and all of a sudden you're playing in front of 4,000 and 5,000 people. So that was an adjustment, but it was a great experience.
So how far did you progress in the minors? You only played 2 years in the minor leagues.
Played
right?
2 years for the Marlins and 1 year independent. I made it to Single A, which my last year for the Marlins I played in Illinois. King County Cougars was the minor league team.
Now, in that time, did you ever pitch against someone who moved up and became a big star? Any experiences like that where you look back and go, oh yeah, I pitched against that guy?
Absolutely. Johnny Damon, who was a left-handed batter, I actually did pretty well against him. Faced him 5 times, and if I remember correctly, I struck him out 3 times. He did get 1 hit off me, but he comes to mind. Charles Johnson was actually a catcher who played for us. Edgar Renteria, who played in the World Series, was our shortstop. And one of the guys that you would never even think of was by the name of John Lynch, who is the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, he was a minor.
He was actually drafted by the Marlins. So our lockers were really close to each other, and I got to know John really well. I don't keep in touch with him now because obviously your paths taking in different directions. But what a quality guy! You knew that he was going to really do something special.
So you knew maybe not in baseball, you ended up doing special things in football. Obviously, as a safety for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Hall of Famer, and then GM for the 49ers now. Obviously, he's built a great team there. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what happened with the Marlins that you ended up having to go to the independent league?
Well, at the end of that season, I actually was 5-0. I was a relief pitcher, and that in itself was an adjustment for me. I was a starter my whole career, so the mental part of now being a relief pitcher compared to a starter was just a whole different mindset for me. Not using that as an excuse, but it was just completely different. Because your name could get called at any time to go into the game, and just the warm-ups and everything you had to prepare yourself much differently. I was 5-0. I was a little bit surprised that I was actually released out of my contract, but I got picked up right away by the independent team. But I got a chance to fulfill my dream. So I owe it to the Marlins for giving me that opportunity. And
there's a very, very small percentage of people who get to play any professional sport for any period of time. And you got to do it for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So the independent league, where was that at, and what was that experience like? Because obviously it's not affiliated with Major League Baseball, but it's still a professional organization.
I played in Parkersburg, West Virginia. It was in the Frontier League, and it's still in existence today. We were called the Ohio Valley Redcoats. And it kind of went in a different direction for me. I went from a reliever to now a starter because I was more or less invited to play for them, and had a pretty good season. I made the All-Star team that year and was hoping to get picked up again by another major league team. Just didn't work out. I went to spring training, I went down to their spring training facility with the St. Louis Cardinals and worked out for them, and they just didn't have any room for me at that time. So I came back and really started my teaching career at that time.
Yeah, it's always hard though, isn't it, when you have a dream like that and there's no opportunity to keep it going. How did you deal with that? Because that must have been a hard thing to do because you put so much effort into it. It was such a dream of yours for such a long time to now basically be told, well, move on with your life's work, right?
It was difficult because I was in my mid-20s. I still felt that I had something to offer. But at that point, when you have 3 teams essentially tell you that you're basically done, you have to move on. I remember watching The Rookie, and I'm thinking to myself, I was in my early 30s, maybe I'll jog home from the movie theater and give it another shot,
Yeah.
But again, it was I look back with no regrets.
Yeah,
It
find
was-
a roadside radar detector.
Exactly.
Take the ball out, and throw it. And
You
see-
always, even today, you feel like you can still perform and do it, but in reality, I knew it was time.
Yeah, but like they always say, everything happens for a reason. You ended up back in Clarion again, and you finished up your degree at Clarion University after that, correct?
That's correct. I finished up my degree in 1996, and obviously knowing that baseball was not in the playing cards at that time, and went and started applying for teaching jobs and got my teaching job out at Clarion-Limestone.
Now, at that time, were you looking to get involved in sports at some aspect, some level, some way? When you started your teaching job at CL, was that something you wanted to do right away, or was that something you wanted to ease into maybe?
I actually wanted to start right away. I had a lot of during my playing days, I had a lot of kids that would write me letters wishing me luck, and they would send me my baseball card, and I would sign it, send it back, and stuff. So I felt that teaching was going to provide an opportunity for me to give back in some way. So I really wanted to jumpstart my teaching career, and at that time, the following year, after my first year, Clarion-Limestone wanted to start a baseball program, and I was, obviously involved in that, and even still to this day as an athletic director, I'm still, involved. So
yeah, not many people find their dream job in their first job, right? And you kind of did that. You kind of graduated, went to CL, and found your home there.
I've been blessed. I've always been able to do what I wanted to do, and I'm not trying to be conceited about that, but career-wise, I had an opportunity to play professional baseball. I always wanted to teach as soon as I was done, and I've been able to do both. So yes, it's been a true blessing to be able to do that.
Well, we have to take another break. Thank you, Brad. Well, we'll talk to you some more about your teaching experience and coaching baseball at CL. Obviously, that's something you had a passion for, and you did quite well. So when we come back from to the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet, when we come back, we'll talk more with Brad about his coaching career at CL.
This is a great show.
Hey, check out this all-new 2024 Chevrolet Trax 1RS in Cacti Green. Let's talk about some of those safety features. We have blind spot monitoring system, we have forward collision system with alert and brake, and we have lane departure warning as well. How about the gas mileage?
30 miles per gallon average. Yeah, it's great. Bumper-to-bumper warranty and the 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain warranty.
And check out the clarity on this backup camera on this 11-inch touchscreen. Can you believe you get all the features like heated steering wheel, heated seats, remote start, power sunroof, all for $24,900?
It's a great value in the new Chevrolet. Hey, check out this Glacier Blue RST Silverado 4x4 Z71 4-wheel drive. 5.3 liter V8. Really nice sharp truck. All LT and RST Silverados have this same interior. Got this really large touchscreen display, built-in Google Maps, heated seats, automatic climate control, heated steering wheel. We have a backup camera, really great display, and all the safety aspects. Adaptive parking, adaptive braking, pedestrian braking, blind spot mitigation.
Follow us to Redbank Chevrolet.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a built-in-the-USA super efficient furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Affordable, quiet, and reliable. You can count on your furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Dubrook, a division of M&B Group, is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665.
And welcome back to the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet. We're here with Brad Frazier, the athletic director at CL and sixth grade teacher in the CL school district. Where we left off, we're going to talk about now transitioning to your career as a teacher and AD and baseball coach. Really, kind of the stars kind of aligned, didn't it? Because CL was starting a baseball program, and what better guy to coach it than Brad Frazier, who had all this baseball experience, right?
Yeah, it was a neat start to my career. Things happened so fast. It was my first year. They wanted me to teach everything, just to kind of get my feet under me, and then my next year, it came about that we were going to start a baseball program, and a lot of parents were pushing for it, and so we actually started a baseball and a softball program that same year, and they gave me the opportunity to coach it, and we started off pretty rough. We were 3-10 our first year. We played more of an independent schedule. But as we grew as a program, things started to progress for us in the right direction.
Yeah, it's always hard to start a program, right? Because there's no history, there's no basis, there's no baseline for the players or the coaches to this is how we do things, right? So was that really what you had to establish? Okay, this is how we're going to do things. This is how we're going to play baseball. This is our philosophy that first year.
Well, for most of them back then, they were just coming out of senior little league. So for a lot of them, they were 14 and 15 years old trying to play high school baseball against a lot of 17 and 18-year-olds. You're going to probably take your lumps. So I had to get them mentally prepared for the game, condition them for the high school season. So it was difficult, but once they started to bite into what we were doing and really understand that hopefully we're going to head on that right path, things started to come together.
And it came together fairly quickly, didn't it? You didn't struggle for too long before you started winning games, playing well, really establishing a successful program.
Yeah, it took about 4 years before we started making some noise in the playoffs and things like that. And one of the things that I really would like to thank is my assistant coaches and players. Without them, you just, I don't want any credit. They deserve all the credit. But back in that early 2000s, we really started putting it together. We played for like 5 district championships in a row. We ended up winning 3 in a row. And, without the players and without good assistants around you, it just wouldn't have happened. But they did well.
Yeah, obviously you had a lot of talent back then. Really, CL in general had a lot of athletic talent back in that era. Talk about some of those guys and what they meant to you as a coach and you as a person, because you develop relationships with these players beyond the field, right? As you coach them year after year after year.
Absolutely. The talent level, the kids really worked hard, and we laid a foundation for them to build off of. And I could just Nate Raybuck, Rocky Davis, Hayden Johnston. I mean, the list goes on and on and on for players that I had that paved the way for other players for us. And I can't thank them enough. But when we really started winning, seems to be contagious. They were winning football games, they were winning basketball games, and it just basically in the spring season, it fell right into baseball. And when you get that group of athletes like that, it's a special group.
Yeah, it really does build momentum. You see that even these days with like a program like Redbank Valley. Their soccer and football won a district title. Then their both basketball teams won a district title. And then baseball won a district title. So it really snowballs, doesn't it? When you have a talented group of athletes who win and like to win and like to compete, that's what every coach and every school hopes for.
Absolutely, and if you have the kids that want to compete, it makes my job easier, because you don't have to really even teach how to win. They already are competing, they want to win, and it just brings everything together. Your fundamentals and their willingness to really get, play hard and want to win, it gels.
And you coached for many years at CL. How many total did you spend as the baseball coach?
I believe 18.
Yeah, you were the only coach for a long time. I was the
the first coach in the program. Spent about 18 years there, and must have been like around 2015-16 is whenever I was pretty much done with it.
Yeah, you also were the AD for some of those.
That was kind of my transition. I would go into AD for my first stint, and I coached 2 years of girls basketball back then as well. So I was getting involved in quite a few things. I ran the clock and just kind of did a little bit of everything for the school back then as well.
In your 2 years as girls basketball coach, you kind of stepped into a breach, didn't you? Because there was no one that was on the list to coach that team. So you basically said, well, I'll do it just so we can have a team, correct?
Doug Rogers was the principal back then, and he came to me and he said, Brad, he said, we don't have anybody. And I said, I'll do it. And I did it for the 2 years, knowing that if I could just keep the program going, somebody else was going to be able to pick it up and do well with it. We were really young back then too. I think we had 9 or 10 freshmen, and we were trying to compete at a varsity level, and sprinkled in with a couple seniors and a junior. I believe we had like 13 out, but 9 or 10 of them were freshmen. It was tough. We definitely took our lumps, so to speak, and but the girls gave me 100%, and that's all I could ask for.
And obviously, during your coaching career as a baseball coach at CL, you got another big honor when Clarion University said, "Hey, you're going to be a Hall of Famer." What was that like? I mean, that's obviously a pinnacle achievement for a collegiate athlete to get into that school's Hall of Fame. It kind of tells them that you were one of the best to ever come through here. So to get that honor, what did that mean to you? It must have meant tremendous amount to you.
I was extremely excited. That was unexpected because I was very fortunate to get my name called for the Hall of Fame. I was so excited. It was actually in 2006. My grandmother had passed away that year, and it was so that part of it was rough. But I can remember my grandma and my parents never missing a game. I had tremendous family support. So with them there at something that I was being honored at, it was just an outstanding feeling.
I'm sure those memories of your grandmother buying you the wrong glove pop back into your head, and all those emotions of her support.
Absolutely. When I was growing up, I mean, my parents, they would take off work just to watch me pitch, and they did it actually for all my my brothers and sister. But just to have that family support was tremendous.
Yeah, and obviously you have a family who you support. Yeah. How many children do you have?
I have one daughter.
One daughter?
Yep, she lives locally. She lives in Shippenville. I have a 2-year-old grandson. Actually, he's about 2 years and 2 months now. But I enjoy spending time with him and to throwing the ball around and trying to get him involved with as much as I can.
I'm sure you'll buy him the right glove, right?
Absolutely. We're going to try and get him on the right track.
Yeah, try to make him a lefty, right?
Yes.
That's where the money is for left-handed pitchers,
absolutely,
left-handed relievers.
Absolutely.
But you kind of mentioned there was 2 stints. What made you decide to leave as a coach after 18 years? That must have been a hard decision too, because it was such a big part of your life for so long.
It was a hard decision. But I knew that I needed to go in a different direction, so I went into the AD position. It still kept me involved, but it was a hard decision, obviously, because baseball was my life. But I wanted to lead the program in good hands. So when Todd Smith actually took over the program, I believe they won the KSAC the first year. So I knew that I wanted to make a good transition for him, and it worked out well.
Well, we're going to have to take another break, Brad, but when we come back, we'll talk some more about your time at CL as the AD, and kind of what some of the issues are now in high school athletics as an athletic director. It's getting more and more complicated. We'll talk a little bit about some co-ops and some exciting things going on at the junior high level that you're telling me about. So this is the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet. I'm Mike Kilroy, then Brad Frazier is our guest, and we'll be back after this break.
Protect your home or business from all those sneaky pests. Give Hugh Henry's Pest Management a call at 814-316-1875 or check them out online at bugguy.com. Pest Management, where nature and technology meet.
Dubrook, a division of M&B Group, is your trusted local ready-mix supplier for residential and commercial projects. Dubrook provides a full line of decorative concrete, as well as concrete supplies, along with a variety of concrete tools and accessories. Dubrook can provide services large or small for residential and commercial projects to contractors or homeowners. Dubrook is here to provide you with options and ideas to make planning your next project simple. Let Dubrook help you with the supplies you need to get the job done. Dubrook is proud to support our local communities with plants in Clarion, Du Bois, St. Mary's, Butler, Evans City, Bradford, and Meadville. Call 1-844-382-7665.
Welcome to 12 Series, a veteran-owned and operated company. Want to stand out amongst the crowd? This is the brand for you. They have apparel that ranges from cardio tanks and hoodies to sweat noggin covers. The apparel isn't just designed for the gym, it's designed for everyday life. Whether at work, the range, or at a family outing, 12 Series will turn heads. Find and like 12 Series on Facebook and Instagram.
You can afford a gorgeous, custom-designed hardwood Kales kitchen for a lot less than you'd pay at a DIY store. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. At Kales, there are never middleman markups or hidden charges that can add 40%. Go to FactoryDirectKitchens.net. That's FactoryDirectKitchens.net.
Clarion Forest VNA believes the emotional and physical well-being of a patient is enhanced by the patient receiving care in the familiar surroundings of home. Their staff of caring professionals work closely with physicians to administer quality care to meet the needs of each individual. As a pioneer in home health care in Clarion and Forest County, Clarion Forest VNA continue to grow to meet the community's need for in-home care, offering many different services and programs to meet the patient's need. Clarion Forest VNA, located at 271 Perkins Road in Clarion. Call us toll-free at 1-800-262-2118.
And welcome back to the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet. I am joined by Brad Frazier here, the AD at Clarion-Limestone, and a sixth grade teacher in the school. And we were talking about, you know, being an athletic director, and obviously that job has changed quite a bit from when you first started it, your first stint to now. What are some of the challenges now that you probably never would have, in your wildest dreams, would have considered back when you started as an AD?
Well, back whenever I started, almost 10 years ago as the AD, and like I said, this is my second stint, just the overall legality stuff, and the involvement more so with the PIAA, and make sure that all your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, and things like that. It's difficult from the sense that you just have to make sure everything's lined up. You don't want anything to fall through the cracks, because ultimately it comes back to you. Yeah. So that's probably the most difficult part, just making sure that everything's double checked, but if Emily Lubis is my assistant, and I couldn't do it without her. She does a tremendous job, and she double checks everything for me, and it works out great.
Yeah,
we have a great team.
It's almost like you have two full-time jobs. You're a teacher and an AD. Those are two full-time jobs, aren't they?
It's definitely, the AD is a full-time job as well. You with the amount of sports that you have in today's, you today that there's something going on almost every night, and I'm there and trying to help out, and I have some people to help out as well, which obviously takes the load off my shoulders. But again, it's just a commitment. It's a full-time job.
It's so much logistical things like buses, transportation, making sure the facility's ready for a basketball game, making sure everyone's staffed properly, making sure the officials are there, making sure the schedule is right. I mean, that would drive me crazy sometimes, right?
There's literally a checklist of 7 or 8 things just to have a game that evening. Like you mentioned, transportation, making sure the officials are all lined up, and just double checking even with the other school that everybody's on the same page. So yeah, it's a big checklist, but it's a rewarding checklist because everything that is in sync is ultimately for the kids, and that's what we're there for.
I was going to say, you must enjoy it to keep doing it, because if you don't like it, you're not going to do it, and you must enjoy it. And really, you're giving opportunities to these athletes, young athletes, student athletes, to play sports and to have a great experience. That's what really it ultimately comes down to, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Like I said, I've been blessed to have been able to do what I wanted to do my whole career. And to give back and help out with the athletes is really second to none. I mean, and to watch them progress, you're watching them from basically 7th grade the whole way up through to their seniors, and is tremendous. The amount of growth that it's unreal.
Yeah, and obviously another thing that's changed is the prevalence of co-ops. CL is involved in numerous co-ops now with football. Softball was new this year. As an AD, what challenges or what things go into that as an AD balancing a co-op? Because you have to communicate with the other athletic directors at the other schools.
Absolutely, and Nancy Mills from Clarion is wonderful to work with. She is
wonderful.
Constant communication with her. The administration from both schools are wonderful to work with, and you have to have everybody on the same page, which we obviously are. And essentially it all started with football. It's dictated by the numbers. If you don't have the numbers, you have to make adjustments, and the adjustment you make is trying to co-op with Clarion and making it work. Softball, for example, we had 8 girls signed up. They had about 8 girls signed up. You can't play with 8, so what do you have to do? You have to try and form a team with both schools. And 16 allows you now to get some JV innings in, get some of the younger kids involved, and it's worked out great.
Really, ultimately, what it all comes down to is opportunity. You need opportunity for these student athletes to be able to play a sport. And going back to your high school days, you didn't have a baseball program at Clarion when you played. That could have maybe short-circuited your hopes, but luckily you were able to get noticed at the Legion level and at the community college level. Maybe if you didn't have a high school program, you might have slipped through the cracks. So these kids now maybe have an opportunity that you did at the time.
Absolutely, and for me, going back to the high school day, I believe just in the area, North Clarion was the only team that had baseball, and I didn't even know there would have been a co-op opportunity back then. So the co-ops have been very helpful just to give the kids an opportunity to play, because that's what we're here for, and we want them to be able to play. Because a lot of them still have that dream of playing at the next level, college, and maybe even beyond, but it gives them an opportunity.
Yeah, and we were also talking last night about some of the things you're trying to do at the junior high level, some new programs. Can you talk about that a little bit? What are you hoping to do at the junior high level to try to get more kids involved in sports and maybe different kinds of sports?
Well, we're always looking at expanding for those different opportunities. We've had some surveys involved with the students to see what type of participation numbers we would get, and they come back really well just in terms of numbers. And again, that's what's going to dictate if we're able to do it. We've already formed the co-op with softball, so we're looking at those opportunities at the junior high level eventually, with both boards eventually trying to maybe approve something with us. And it just provides those opportunities for our kids.
Do you see the softball co-op being a long-term
Absolutely. We looked hard at the Little League system. We know that the numbers out at the Little League system weren't where they used to be, and we knew that the Little League system wouldn't support two teams, from two different schools. So we had to do something to give those girls an opportunity to play.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword in some respects, because you lose your individuality. Maybe you have to give that up, like having the CL on your uniform, but the pros far outweigh the cons, right? Because you actually get to wear a uniform.
Without a doubt, the benefits outweigh anything else, because when these kids have played together their whole life, and the whole way up through the minor league system, and so they already knew each other, and that's what helps. That's actually what has helped the transition in these co-ops be beneficial.
Yeah, and you see co-ops being successful at other schools. Union AC Valley is a prime example. Their co-ops have really helped the programs in those co-ops. You see the same thing with CL and Clarion. Like the football program has really taken off. And you made a great point. It's not about building super teams, right? It's about having a team, about having participation.
Exactly. A lot of the misconception, I really believe, is they think you're trying to build a powerhouse. That's not the case. We're just trying to keep programs to survive. And the only way that you really do it is to co-op, because if you don't have the participants, you can't play.
Yeah, and that's a problem at a lot of these smaller communities, smaller schools. As numbers dwindle, it's threatening some of these sports. So co-ops are the only way kind of to survive. Speaking of trends in sports, we can hit on a couple of hot button issues. One of them is the shot clock in basketball. Another state, I think Illinois, is going to adopt it in 2026. There's more and more states jumping on that bandwagon of a shot clock. And obviously, as an athletic director, that presents some issues, doesn't it? If Pennsylvania were to ever have a shot clock. A lot of it is logistical. You have to have a shot clock. You have to have someone run the shot clock who knows what they're doing. So are you for it, against it? Do you see that maybe coming to Pennsylvania at some point?
Personally, I would be against it. I think sometimes just in general. People try and make too many changes. I see this, the pitch clock in baseball and different things. And that, to me, that's been a good thing. But in basketball, I think you just should be able to play your own game. What benefits your team? And I've seen teams that have they slow the ball down. They're very successful. So personally, I'm against it. But I know it's coming. It's eventually going to.
Yeah,
it's going to be there.
The writing is kind of on the wall. Yeah. Well, we have to take another break. When we come back with Brad, we'll wrap things up. We'll talk about his future. Talk about some other kind of general things involving sports. So this is the Main Street Sports Show. I'm your host, Mike Kilroy, joined by Brad Frazier of CL. And after this break, we'll be back.
Hey, Julie, nice deck. Did you get that at T.O. Nesta Builder Supply?
It's T.O. Nesta Builder Supply. And yes, Dave, I did.
Wonder if they sell siding and roofing at T.O. Nesta Builder Supply.
It's T.O. Nesta. And yes, T.O. Nesta Builder Supply has that too. Come on, Dave. You've never been there? They have 2 showrooms for anything home improvement. Mom got a custom kitchen there. Bill down the street got the materials for his garage. They have this awesome website, www.tionestabuilders.us. You can buy online. They really have everything for the home.
Wow, I'm heading over to T.O. Nesta. I know. Tionesta Builders.
Tionesta Builders Supply Home Improvement Center, family owned and operated since 1958, with locations in Tionesta and Shippensville.
That sounds good. I'll check them out online at tionestabuilders.us.
Protect your home or business from all those sneaky pests. Give Hugh Henry's Pest Management a call at 814-316-1875 or check them out online at bugguy.com. Pest Management, where nature and technology meet.
No matter how cold it is outside, you can keep warm and toasty inside with a built-in-the-USA super efficient furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Affordable, quiet, and reliable, you can count on your furnace from Luton's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
Welcome to 12 Series, a veteran-owned and operated company. Want to stand out amongst the crowd? This is the brand for you. They have apparel that ranges from cardio tanks and hoodies to sweat noggin covers. The apparel isn't just designed for the gym, it's designed for everyday life. Whether at work, the range, or at a family outing, 12 Series will turn heads. Find and like 12 Series on Facebook and Instagram.
And welcome back. This is our final segment of the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet. We've had a great conversation, Brad, and talk a little bit more about your future. What is your future as a teacher and as athletic director at CL?
Well, my mind's set pretty much on 3 more years for my teaching. I haven't ruled out maybe staying on if they would like me to stay on as AD for a longer period of time. But I have, like I said, I have a 2-year-old grandson.
Yeah.
And I want to get involved with him even more. I actually watch him usually once or twice a week in the mornings before I go to school to get him off to daycare. So that's just another responsibility that my daughter's asked me, and I enjoy every minute of it. But I want to get more involved with him because he's going to be going to kindergarten, and the timing will be right for me. 3 years, he'll be 5, and hopefully I can get to work with him and continue to do those things.
Yeah, we were talking about make him a lefty, right? Trying to make him a lefty.
I hope so. I hope so. But he's ultimately going to make his own choices.
Yeah. Yeah, you really can't control that too much,
no.
can you? Yeah.
Grandpa helped steer him that way a little bit, but,
yeah.
But no, he'll make his own choice.
Yeah. So over the years, when you do leave, what are you going to remember the most? What's going to come back into your mind when you're kind of sitting on your porch or playing with your grandson about being coaching athletic director? Really, even back to your playing days.
What I'm going to remember the most from just teaching and athletics is the student athletes, the students in general, the people that I worked with. I worked with a tremendous amount of people. Dick Hewlings and Carmelita Blair were there my first year, and they helped me out tremendously to kind of get started in teaching. And I work alongside a lot of great people right now. And I've just been fortunate that way. But you can look back and do all the reflections you want, but it's truly been a great run. And
yeah.
I have, like I said, hopefully I have 3 more years left in me, and it's kind of ride off into the sunset with my grandson and do things with him.
Yeah, and teaching too. I mean, we've talked a lot about sports, but being a teacher is obviously a big part of your life. Teaching 6th grade, that's a really interesting age, isn't it?
It is, I keep telling my students that, you're the oldest in the school now, but next year you're going back to kindergarten. Sometimes, you run through your days where they challenge you and things, but they're why we're there, to work with them and to help them. And I often think back to almost 1,500 students that I've had over my career, and I just want to be able to walk through places like Walmart and say hello and see how they're doing, and know that you made some impact in their life.
Yeah, what would you hope they would say about you? Like when they say, yeah, Brad Frazier, I remember him as my teacher. He was genuine. He really believed in me. I talk a lot about with my students, believe in yourself, because you can do anything. Don't let anybody tell you no. Don't ever give up. And so I think that if they look back and for me, that's what I want them to remember the most. I believed in them. Yeah, because teachers can have such a huge impact on a young life. Was there a teacher who had a big impact on you?
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Bowersox from Clarion area. He taught history. He was my 11th grade history teacher. And same thing. He just believed in us. And what a great track coach too, by the way.
Yeah,
he put together a lot of outstanding track teams. But he was just one of those well-rounded guys that I always looked up to.
Yeah, everyone has that one teacher, right? Everyone, I'm sure you hope you're
but
that one teacher.
But there's been a lot.
Yeah.
There really has. There's been a lot.
Yeah. Is that kind of why you wanted to get into education? You wanted to be that kind of an impact on young people?
Absolutely. I wanted to tie things together with baseball. I wanted to be able to, those kids that were writing me letters, I wanted to be able to give back to them someday. And that teaching, I thought, provided an opportunity for me to do so.
Yeah. What's the most fun aspect about teaching for you?
The most fun for me is watching a kid succeed.
Yeah.
Where you can take them from one level and bring them up and give them the confidence that they feel successful. Not everything that we're going to be able to teach them in math or social studies or whatever the case is, but basically teach them to be a better person in life.
Yeah.
And to give them those qualities and try and help them along the way just means a lot.
Yeah, you told a really cool story when we're off camera about Steve Smale. He covers a lot of CL stuff for us and a lot of other papers, and he would often ask you, "What's your overall record?" And you would often not know it because that's not the primary. You want to win, obviously, but it's not always the primary focus, right? It's coaching and teaching is more about a whole rather than tangible success measurements, right? Talk about that a little bit, just about what that's about.
Absolutely. Shout out to Steve. Steve's a great guy.
Yeah, Steve does a great job.
He does wonderful things for all the local papers, and he really stays on top of sports and stuff. But it's, again, you're looking at a situation for me is he'd always ask me, what is your record? And I'd say, Steve, I don't know my records. I have over 200 wins, but I couldn't tell you exactly what I have. And it doesn't matter, because what matters most is, are the kids having fun? And, we're being successful along the way. And we're basically teaching them, we're taking them from 14 years old in baseball to 17, 18, and trying to prepare them for life. And, again, it was a great experience for me.
Yep, we're almost out of time, but before we go, I'm gonna ask you one question. We do these high school Q&As during the summer, and I want to ask you one other question that's on our forum. What is something about you that maybe people don't know about before we go? Someone would be surprised to know about you.
That I really like to do a lot of antique shopping. I like to go to auctions. Now, maybe some of my very closest friends might know that, but if you go to my house, I have antiques and different things, and I really enjoy that part because it's relaxing for me, but it's also kind of something that I can just go do and bring something back that I can really enjoy.
Right.
But no, antique. I like going to antique shopping and auctions and things like that.
Well, thank you, Brad. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. This has been the Main Street Sports Show, sponsored by Redbank Chevrolet, and join us again next week. We have another show lined up. I think Rich Herman's actually going to be a guest.
Oh, great.
Next week, so maybe he can talk about coaching Brad Frazier and being one of his best best products. We'll find out. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next week.